Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. I'm Kevin, and this is
Paul. What's up, guys?
Beautiful. Look, we want to thank you so much for watching the first video in this series of, hey, you're a brand new shooter, you're trying to figure this out just like everybody else. So we thought for this video, we would have a little fun with it and dive into, hey, it's a Saturday when we're filming this. You're getting up, you're going to the gun store, you're going to look at some guns. And there's you're going to see a ton of guns at the gun store. And we've noticed that some gun stores can do a disservice because they may not be giving you the right information, or sometimes they just don't have the interest in giving you any information. Yep. And so you're probably like, okay, Kevin, Paul, I got the first video, I got the firearm, I got the safety stuff, cool, but I have no idea what I'm looking for. I have no idea what kind of gun I need. What do I buy? There's about 800 different brands out there. You have no idea where to start. So we're going to use this video, short and sweet, to get you kind of going on what you could be looking for. And I guess we'll just start with two categories: subcompact, full size.
Yep.
Paul, indulge us on that.
So the biggest thing that you're going to be looking for when you go to buy a gun is being comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because if you don't like the gun that you buy, you're not going to practice with it, you're not going to train with it, and you're not going to carry it.
No.
So the biggest thing that you can do is go to a range that allows for you to rent guns so that you can test them out. If you're unfamiliar with how they work, somebody at the range will join you in the range and actually show you how to manipulate those guns and how to work them. The biggest thing I can tell you is make that call on your own.
Yes.
Don't let somebody else tell you
God, please don't.
what to carry. Now, I am a Glock boy through and through. I use it for my profession. I use it for when I'm not on duty.
Mm-hmm.
I just trust Glocks.
It's a matter of time before we get the Glock tattoo right there.
Probably.
It's just a matter of time.
Maybe if they sponsor me,
if they start sending money to the show.
But I'm a Glock boy through and through. And I'm going to tell you why I love Glock. And I'm going to tell you why I don't like other brands of guns. But I don't care what you buy. I don't care what you use, as long as you're training with it. And if you don't like it, you're not going to train with it. You're not going to take it to the range. You're not going to dry fire it at the house. And dry firing is basically having the gun empty and just pulling the trigger over and over and re-racking the slide so you can get your finger manipulation in. And we'll deep dive into that in one of later episodes. But it's a very cost-effective way to get training in at the house while you're watching TV. But if you don't like the gun, you're not going to do any of that. It's going to be more of a headache to get it out and to practice with it and take it to the range and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So if somebody comes up to you and says, this is what you need to buy, don't worry about any other guns, immediately they don't have your best interest at heart. Every gun has its benefits. Some are smaller, some are lighter, some are cheaper, some are more expensive. If you want to buy something reliable, you're probably going to be at least in the $400 range right now.
Yeah, that's good. I'd say.
But the big thing is, are you going to use it? Are you going to train with it? Are you going to carry it? So as you go to the range or the gun shop and you're looking, find something that feels comfortable. Most ranges now allow you to rent by caliber. So you pay $20 and you get to rent by the caliber instead of renting each gun individually. So if you rent a 9mm, you're going to be able to shoot all of the different 9mm for free until you run out of their ammo. So all you have to do, say, hey, this is the caliber that I'm looking at. Can you show me some of the options? Sure. And they're going to show you one or two. Yeah. They're going to kind of point you in a direction. You can try that gun, and then if you don't like it, bring it back. They'll let you try another 9mm. Typically, I do suggest staying with 9mm. Yeah. Ballistics have caught up, and you'll hear old timers say 45 is the way to go, and it won 2 world wars, and it did. But at the time, the 9mm ballistics were not nearly what they are now. 9mm with the right defensive ammunition in it performed just as well as a 45 does. So, again, for a later topic. What it's going to come down to is comfortability. If you prefer to carry a subcompact, so a subcompact is a very small frame gun. There's not a lot of area on it. It is meant more for a concealed carry purpose, to stay hidden and just have that protection on you. Then you have a compact gun, which if somebody says compact, just think medium. Yeah. Right? It's still kind of concealable. It's a little bit bigger. And then you have full-size guns, which would be like the size of your 1911 or like a Glock 17 or 22, which are the full-size 5-inch barrels. Today I have brought my 43X, which is what I carry. It is supposed to be a single stack 9mm subcompact gun, but I have also upgraded it and used metal magazines on it, so it's able to be a double stack, so I'm able to carry the 15 rounds that a regular gun does. But Kevin, what I want you to do, I've already unloaded the gun, cleared it, but check that. If you watch the first video, you see where that barrel's pointing?
Yeah, right down.
Straight down, not at anybody.
She is clear. I'm going to place her right there.
So, she is clear. This gun, as you can tell, is very small. Okay? This is what I carry on a daily basis. It is not meant to be a full-size gun. It is strictly meant to be able to hide, conceal, and not let people know that it's there. It is very convenient. It's a little bit bigger than the Glock 43, which is its predecessor. The frame on the Glock stops a little bit shorter than this one does, so it's a little bit harder to grab. This one's got a very long grip on it, and the frame up here is the same size. It's just a little bit longer down here, but it fits my hand comfortably. I'm 6'4", so I'm able to carry this gun. So this is what I trust my life with, my family's life, on a day-to-day basis when I am not working.
Do you have to constantly bring up that you're 6'4"?
No, but when I'm standing next to a guy who's 5'8", this isn't manipulation of the camera.
And that was the
This is just
nicest
height
thing ever
difference.
because I'm 5'7". Oof. Thank you so much for that 1 extra inch.
Well, if you wore lifts, you'd be 5'8".
Yeah, I got my Airwalks on today, so a little
Nice.
low today. I actually do like that gun. I've shot it a couple times with you. I would say that's the perfect gun for travel.
Yeah.
If you're like right now, we're in North Carolina, so it's what, 103 degrees outside?
Every day.
And so if you're wearing like
humidity.
even how Paul's dressed today, which is t-shirt, shorts, he's perfect. He can go anywhere he wants to be completely fine. No one's gonna know that
Got
he has
that
it
drip,
on.
son.
That's it. So I think that's when I talk about like sub or subcompacts or compacts, whatever, that's usually my first thing I go to is if someone's like, hey, if I buy a compact, what's the pro? The pro is the fact that you're gonna hide it easier. You also carry appendix too, so
I do.
he actually can hide a little bit better versus a full size. So what I'll do, I want to bring out the airsoft that you guys saw on the first video. There's no green gas in it, and it's completely unloaded, just for everybody's. So imagine this was your gun, right? So imagine this is what you carried on a day-to-day basis, a full size like 2011 or 1911. I don't really care what kind of body shape you are. That's going to be hard to hide.
Yeah,
you
that's gonna be
could,
tough.
but I'm just saying in general, if you carried at a 3 o'clock position or a small back, whatever your carry is, and we'll dive into that stuff later, that's going to be, you're going to print. And that means people are going to see that you have a gun actively on you. So we'll leave that one there. And then I'll bring out what I carry. She is clear. I'll let my buddy Paul take her. All right, this is what I carry. So you can see a little bit of a difference between the 2011 and, yep, beautiful. And I'll get the airsoft out of the way.
Yeah.
So there's the difference. Put yours back up, Paul. That's the difference right there. And this is the Canik TP9 SF Elite, which is their full size. It's still kind of small though. It's not like gigantic, but even though I really do enjoy shooting the gun, it is a hard gun to conceal in like summer weather because I do typically carry a 3 o'clock position, so it actually is much harder to hide that. So I usually will slide it maybe 1, 2 o'clock, but it's still kind of slightly uncomfortable. But it's still a great gun. I really enjoy shooting it. The only issue is you can't hide it as well in the summer months. And I think that has to be taken into consideration.
Yeah.
In the winter time, you're golden because you're going to be wearing flannel, hoodies, jacket, whatever. It's going to hide a little bit better. So those are things to take into consideration.
And that's something that, as you start this journey, you're buying a gun, if you've never had a gun before, concealed carry may not be your first option that you're looking for. You may just want it to be at the house or, if you go hunting or, or hiking or whatever the case may be, you may just have it there as protection. Mm-hmm. If that's the case, every gun is an option to you. So it's really just what's going to be more comfortable. When you start getting into concealed carrying, I'm very big on it, but I'm also very big on not letting people know that I have it. So I try to make sure that I buy stuff that's going to allow me to hide it as best I can. So that's why I go with the 43X. I've got different guns at home that are meant for different aspects. But I've also been doing this for over a decade now. I even started my shooting career long before I became a police officer. I was, using my Second Amendment properly. So with that, I bought multiple guns throughout the years. I've sold multiple guns because I was given wrong information. And that's why I'm so big on making sure that you go to the range, making sure that you're testing this stuff out, finding something that you really like, you really enjoy, something that's comfortable in your hands, and you understand how to manipulate the gun, because you have to worry about safeties and then releasing the mag and, how to chamber around and pulling the slide back. There's so much that goes into the gun itself. If you're not comfortable with it or you don't like it, you're not going to take the time to learn how to manipulate it and use it properly.
Yeah, and we'll do. I think the next video would be nice if we actually sat down and we showed a couple different guns, because you made a great point too. Both guns that we just picked up that we carry every day do not have any external safeties on them, and that's I get a ton of text messages from new students who are purchasing, Instagram DMs, all that, all those messages coming and going, where people are asking, hey, I'm at the gun store. So they're physically at the gun store and they're asking if they should buy a gun that doesn't have an external safety versus one that does or doesn't. So that's maybe have the idea that gun stores are doing kind of a disservice.
Yeah.
And so I think we'll dive into that. Before we wrap the video up, we'll run through, if you're going to go to the gun store, these are you want to make sure the person that you're talking to is I know the gun stores are busy. There's a lot of people everywhere, but you should be their number one priority talking. You should be able to explain to them, hey, I'm a brand new gun owner. So if I were to the gun store and Paul walked in, it would be, what is it you're looking for? Well, hey, I have no idea. I've never, my first time. And that the store representative should be able to be like, cool, and start running through those questions. Do you want a full size? Do you want a compact? Do you want a subcompact? Do you want a pistol? Do you want a revolver? What are you going to use it for? If they're not asking you those questions, find someone who is, and if they're not, go to another gun store.
Yeah.
Because what I've noticed in the basic pistol classes that we offer, there are so many people coming through with guns that they probably shouldn't have. What I mean by that is, and I'm just going to be honest from just a physics perspective, a 4'11" person does not probably need to buy a 45 caliber for their first time if they've never shot a gun before. It's going to be really hard to get them to understand controlling that recoil off of something so powerful. And the reason they have it is because either the gun store, whoever that person was, carries it and said the only gun you should have is a 45, and didn't build a gun around the person. And husbands are guilty of it too. If the husband carries, a 45 or a 40, they automatically want the wife to do it as well. And that's cool if she can handle that, but most of the time she can't. The other thing I've seen, and I don't know if Paul's been in the class with me or he's seen it too, is I've seen people come in with 380s because an individual thought, the gun store thought that was the best option for them because maybe they were a female. And the problem is the 380 is so small, the student actually cannot get a proper grip on it.
Yeah.
And those things could have been fixed directly at the gun store if the representative, that sales guy would have been like, hey, what is it you're actually looking for? That could have been handled.
Yeah, and that goes back to, if somebody tells you this is what you should have, they're doing you a disservice. If you're buying a gun and you haven't tested it and you're taking it to a class, if you haven't rented it and shot a few rounds through it, you're doing yourself a disservice. Most of these places now have internal ranges there at the shop. So all you have to do is literally just walk from the rental counter to the lane and just start popping off a few rounds to see if you like it. Because like I said, if you don't like it, you're not going to use it, you're not going to train with it, you're not going to practice with it. And then if you end up taking a class, you're not going to get the most out of the class because you're going to have to constantly be stopping to ask for help and figure out how to do stuff or how to work your gun. So if you're going to go to a range or a gun shop to buy your gun for the first time, make sure you're getting your hands on it, make sure you learn the mechanics of it, and make sure you can try to put a few rounds through it before you make that purchase. Because there's nothing more frustrating than buying a gun like I did before you've ever even shot it, and then getting to the point where you're using it and you're like, God, I hate this thing. This is awful. Yeah. My first gun was an FNX It was a double action, single action, and I thought that made it perfect for concealed carry. Had an external safety, and I carried it in Uncle Mike's holster, which we'll get into.
We'll dive into holsters later too. Yeah,
probably the most embarrassing thing I'll ever admit on this this recording, this
we're
video,
so used to
this
doing,
video log.
We're so used to doing podcasts.
We are.
Both of us do podcasts together, and
Yeah.
like this is actually slightly weird.
Is new. This is new.
Yeah,
There's actually somebody watching. But I did that, and then I realized I don't like this gun. It doesn't do what I want it to do. It doesn't work the way I thought it was going to work. So I ended up having to sell that to fund my purchase of a Glock, and then the rest is history.
The rest is history. Yeah, it's a lot of things. I mean, just like with anything though, you might not be in a situation where the gun store may not have a range. So sometimes you are kind of taking a huge risk in buying stuff. But at the end of the day, there's 1,000 different questions to ask and it's daunting because like he said, and I've been around it too, there's so many people that will throw that, well, I carry this, that's what you have to carry. And I get it. Like, I get it. Everyone tries to be helpful, but not all helpful information is actually helpful. So these are we want to throw it out. These are the questions to ask as far as going to the gun store. If you have any other questions or you're like, hey, this video helped, but could you touch on what Paul said or could you touch on what Kevin said or whatever, we'll answer any questions. So that way, hell, even if we have to put in the description of the video, which I think we'll do, in the description of the video, we'll literally put these are the questions to ask or these are the things to look for so that when you go in, it's going to make your life way easier because you're going to be able to know exactly what you're looking for.
Yep.
So, but we appreciate it. Thank you again for watching the video.
Thanks for watching, guys.
If you have any questions, of course, drop them below. We'll put all the email and all that good stuff. Ezekiel Defense Shooting is on Facebook. You can find us there and shoot us any kind of message you want. We only like good vibes around here. So if you shoot any negative comment, you're probably not going to get a response. Just to be honest, like, we don't have time for negativity because I'm sure someone's going to chime in and be like, "You're wrong. You only buy Springfield or you only buy this." We don't do that around here.
40 caliber is the only caliber.
Or my favorite before we close, you only need one shot. That's all you need.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. False.
Then go get you a black powder gun. See how that works out.
Again, Kevin, Paul, thank you so much for watching the channel. We really appreciate it.
Shoot them straight. Your car's not a holster.
Stay safe.